Hi, everybody, and welcome to this special edition of Greek This Week on the pronunciation of Biblical Greek. This is a somewhat more nerdy or geeky, let's say, discussion about pronunciation of Biblical Greek. Nerdy and geeky, I love that stuff. But for some of you out there, this might sound a little boring or not really up your alley, and that's totally fine. And so in that case, we'll see you on the next video, and that's totally okay. But for those of you who want to stick around and learn a little bit about the pronunciation of Biblical Greek, or at least this very particular pronunciation called the Erasmian Pronunciation. Now that refers to the Renaissance scholar and humanist Erasmus, who was a scholar of Biblical Greek. And usually the Erasmian pronunciation of Biblical Greek, which is often what pronunciation is used in sort of the classroom setting in North America or other academic settings of studying Biblical Greek. Why is this pronunciation traced to Erasmus? Well, in 1528, Erasmus published a text called Dialogue on the Correct Way of Pronouncing Latin and Greek. And in this kind of playful, funny dialogue, there is a lion and a bear. And lion and bear are talking to each other about the proper, correct way of pronouncing Biblical Greek. And they have a kind of playful discussion, a hypothetical discussion about how ancient Biblical Greek was really pronounced. And the way that they describe the pronunciation of Biblical Greek is the most similar thing that we can identify in Erasmus's texts and work to the way that Biblical Greek is pronounced in the classroom today. But is that discussion between lion and bear the actual pronunciation of Biblical Greek that Erasmus himself used and advocated for in study and in teaching? And the simple answer is no. No. In fact, this text between the discussion between lion and bear was very likely not intended by Erasmus as a guide for actual practical pronunciation of Biblical Greek, but instead was a kind of playful hypothetical discussion which was sort of depicting various conversations that were happening in academic circles that Erasmus participated in about Biblical Greek. But it was really more playful and hypothetical and not really perhaps what Erasmus wanted his position to be on the pronunciation of Biblical Greek. Because we know, actually, that Erasmus was quite clear that Biblical Greek should be pronounced in the way that modern native Greek speakers pronounce Greek. So this is clear from a couple pieces of evidence. There's a 1518 letter where Erasmus is talking about hiring a Greek teacher at the school he teaches at, and he's very clear that it should be a native Greek speaker because a native Greek speaker knows how to correctly pronounce Biblical Greek. And there are some other pieces of evidence, a poem from a little bit later, 1526, that clearly has a rhyming scheme that reflects native modern Greek pronunciation, and Erasmus is advocating this. So, this is a kind of funny, playful story about, let's say, how pronunciation can go wrong or be confused and be mixed up. And what is interesting and important is that the Erasmian pronunciation of Greek, the true Erasmian pronunciation of Greek, is the native modern Greek-speaking pronunciation of Greek. So I hope you've enjoyed this Greek This Week video. And in case you're interested in where this story comes from, it comes from a 2017 article in the Erasmus Studies Journal published by Brill, and that article is by Dr. Jody A. Barnard, and it's called The Erasmian Pronunciation of Greek, Whose Error Is It? So that is my source for this. Very grateful to Dr. Barnard for telling this incredible, fascinating story, and thank you for listening.